today. Thank you to the Quincy and the Milton Town committees for holding this. And
but there's many more town committees also represented here. We're going to have everybody.
All right, great. Thank you for being represented here today. We have a candidate for school committee, I believe, with us here today, and we have 4 or 5 state committee people here. And I'd like to get with you afterwards before I leave this event so we can talk a little bit. I have planned a couple of 6 copies of my plan that I'm presenting to the grassroots. I mailed it to the state committee a couple days ago, and I think the grassroots should have a courtesy copy of that plan. I am Mike Franco. I'm a candidate for state chairman of the Republican Party, and I'm pleased to be here today. I'm a native of Western Massachusetts, My family is mostly out west, and we've invested in this Commonwealth, and we still like it here. We're going to stay here. We're going to fight. We're not going to leave you. I understand there are a lot of people leaving. I am in touch with the grassroots because I am the grassroots. I've been building committees on the local level and the regional level, and I've been assisting statewide for many, many years now, about 8 years. I've been a candidate for public office. I'm qualified for this job. I have a great education. I'm an MBA. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing and management from Westfield State College. I'm an Air Force officer, semi-retired at this point. The Air Force has invested a great deal of time and energy and money into me. I have professional skills that they've provided me along the way. I'm a public affairs officer. I was an executive officer in my last 4 years at a unit out in Chicopee, Mass. I served this country through the Air Force in permanent stations in Colorado, Texas, and Utah, and a lot of temporary duty assignments throughout the whole United States, and some overseas travel with humanitarian missions with a cargo airlift. I worked in real-world environments. We flew cargo worldwide with C-5A Galaxies. At the beginning of Desert Shield, Desert Storm, I was called to active duty out of graduate school to assist with an aircraft mishap. We lost an airplane and 9 crew members and a bunch of passengers in a fire crash in Germany. And I worked that as a public affairs officer. I hosted press conferences. I wrote numerous press releases. I dealt with very sensitive issues with families, next of kin, and so forth, protect the families from a sometimes very assertive and aggressive media. So I have some real-world experience in the United States Air Force, and I also have experience in the private sector with industry. In the 90s, I was a sales and marketing gentleman working across Massachusetts, other parts of New England, parts of New York State. I made a lot of joint sales calls into industries, manufacturers, selling machinery, machine tools, equipment, and supplies. And with what I know about people skills and interpersonal relations, it's going to be readily transferable into the job as chairman, because I would expect myself to be working 60 to 80 hours a week as the chairman of the Republican Party of Massachusetts. Any less would be insufficient at this time in this crisis, and I will be making those joint sales calls with the local city and town committees to build up the structure and viability and legitimacy of our local town and city committees. If I have to hand-deliver paperwork to the Secretary of State's office, to the MassGOP office, to the local chairs to get the job done, I will do it, because I know that some people just need to have their hands held. They'll do a good job, put them in place, train them, teach them how to do certain things, and sometimes you still have to hold their hands. That's okay. I understand that. Scott Brown was here earlier. I love Scott Brown. He's been very supportive of issues that are very near and dear to my heart. However, on the issue of who we are and who we ought to be as Republicans, and Greg Casey, sir, you can tell Scott Brown that he's about 50% right on that. Okay? Because who we are is what's causing the problem here in this Republican Party in Massachusetts and around this country. We've lost our way. We don't know who we are. Okay? If you read the RNC, the manual, Republican National Committee manual on who we are and what we represent, you'll see that very clearly who we are. And we should stick to those foundations. We should fight for those. We shouldn't be ashamed that we are Republicans and that we're conservative. We want limited government, less taxes, efficient government. We shouldn't be ashamed. We're not bad guys. We're trying to make everybody's life better. We have nothing to hide from. We are Republicans. The reason why we're losing is because we act like it's bad to be a Republican, like we're mean. Okay? We're not mean. We want to give people freedom and liberty to live their lives without the government being involved and destroying their small businesses and their families and ruining their lives as Americans. My grandparents didn't come to this country from the old country, from Italy, Poland, and Sweden, okay, for less opportunity, less freedom. They came here for more opportunity, more freedoms, to make a life for themselves and their families. We're losing it here in America. Massachusetts is the epicenter of a cultural war that we have to fight. It's our duty to fight this war. And I want you to fight it with me. And it's not a lot of cheerleading, it's a lot of hard work. And like I said, 60 to 80 hours per week. I'm with you to do that. If you're there for me once a quarter, fine. I don't expect you to be there for me every day, but I will lead by example, and we will straighten out this party, and we will get it back on track. It's going to take 3 to 5 years to bring this party back. This is a 2-year job, a 2-year term, okay? We're going to stop the bleeding, and we're going to stabilize this party here in Massachusetts in the first 2 years. We can't expect miracles. We're going to help guys like Scott Brown stay in office, Bob Hedlund, the Representative Hill over here. We're going to help them stay in office, but we're going to grow this party using a state representative-centered strategy to run as many state representative candidates as we can across this Commonwealth as the local town and city committees can manage, nominally manage, with their enthusiasm, with their money, with their energy. That's how we're going to do it. We're not going to have a good direction and stay on course just because we have a good governor in the office, in the corner office for us. I'm not against that, okay? But as chair, as the leader of this party, if I see all the time, resources, and money going towards one or just a few people at the top, I will knock that off immediately because we need to support the grassroots. That's where we're going wrong. Jennifer's a great person, and I'm pleased that she's here today, and I always feel good in her presence because she's a lovely woman, and she's probably a great mom, and she's going to be a tremendous asset to this party. But right now, at this time, we need a bricklayer, okay? And I'm going to lay the first cornerstone with you folks. And I'm here, I'm talking to you kind of very seriously, but I can smile and have fun with you. And I look forward to having lunch with you, or a coffee, or whatever it is, so we can sit down, have a working session, and I will take that work with me. I won't expect you, I won't turn my back on you. You've got my full support.
Thank you, Mike.